All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Your Platform Podcast. We are back. It's been a couple of weeks. Been very busy. I can't record as much as I used to, but I have the great honor today to be here with someone who's real special to me. His family, my cousin, Adrian Vega, AV, owner of AV Hair Co. downtown New London, Golden Street, 13 Golden Street. And we're going to dive into this. I have a couple of topics and ideas that I just want to kind of run by you. And I think the first thing that I think everybody should know before we go into your career, the business you built, the people that you have is the number one thing that I have noticed about you over the years is that you put other people before you. You are someone who will take the shirt off of your back and give it to someone. You show a lot of love. You're always there for your community. You're a family man. You have 4 beautiful children, and you're always just thoughtful of others before yourself. And I think that if anybody can build a successful business, they should learn that number one principle of putting others' needs first. And I think that's why you are where you are today. So Adrian, thank you for letting me come here and do this at your shop. Very proud of what you've been able to accomplish and build. And I'm looking forward to the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, bro, listen. Obviously, I know you've done a couple of shows and episodes before, but I know you from obviously cutting hair for over 20 years, 25 years. You used to cut my hair, back in the projects back in the day. We used to always go to you. I don't really know what inspired you to start that, and I'm curious to know when you first started cutting hair, did you decide, yeah, this is what I want to do? What was your first haircut like? I'm curious what that looked like.
My first haircut was it all started when I was like 14 years old. I had a neighbor who was dating a guy from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is shit going back 30
In the
years.
90s, yeah.
So our area is late on fashion and all that stuff. And him being from Brooklyn, like they were way ahead of us. So he came, I seen him one time and like he was always fresh. I mean, he drove the newest Maxima back then, always had the fresh gear. And that was the first time I ever noticed what a shape-up was, a hairline. So I asked him, hey, what's that? He probably looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, this is a fade. I was like, where you get that from? He was like, I'm back home in Brooklyn. And I was like, you know how to do that? He was like, yeah, I could do it. So I started bugging him to cut my hair. And then eventually, I think he gave me one haircut. But shortly after that, I wanted another one.
Yeah.
Before that even grew out, I wanted another one. And I felt like he was giving me the runaround, like he didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So eventually I asked him if I could borrow his clippers. And I was going to try cutting my own hair, but instead I've cut my brother's hair. And he liked it, but he didn't know no better. None of us did. I'm lucky I didn't get electrocuted in the process because I was using clippers that you plug in at the time with a ton of water in our bedroom. And I was like, that could have went bad.
Yeah.
The haircut went bad, but it could have been worse. And then, I don't know, I just started experimenting and on my brother, myself, like Eddie, I'm thankful for anybody who gave me a shot when I was coming up. And then one year my mother, she bought me a better set of clippers with all the attachments and stuff like that. And that's when I was like, oh, wait a minute. And things started, getting a little better, a little cleaner.
When did you realize you were getting good at it?
When people started returning.
Yeah. How long was that? So, 14, 15, you had your first child at 21? 19. Yeah. So you had Cito at 19. So as far as I can remember, so you're 10 years older than me. So I saw you a time or two before then. Were you in shops then? Like at 18, 19?
Probably, I want to say like 20s. Yeah. Well, I stopped going to school because I got an opportunity to work at a barbershop.
I didn't know you didn't finish school.
Shh, it's a secret. It was a secret. Oh. No, I never kept it from nobody.
I can edit that out.
Oh, that's fine. No. It is what it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm successful today.
Yeah, of course. That's all that matters.
I'm not saying don't finish school, kids. Finish school, but it ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
I found my lane. But what you call it? Yeah, I was like, I didn't have CETO yet. I was still in high school,
Mhm.
and I remember my father and my mother being upset that I chose to not go to school. Well, I was like I said, I was making money. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You asked me like, how did I know I was getting better?
Yeah, yeah.
I was cutting childhood friends and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and for free. And then I went from 5, then I
Yeah,
went to 10,
yeah.
or 7, 10. Made my way up,
How
and
many of your
then I started
childhood
reinvesting my money in better tools, and that's when it
smart.
started to get better.
How many of your childhood friends you still cut today?
Um, I never counted, but I've had people with me that's been with me for like 20 years at
Yeah,
least,
I
20
think
plus.
I think so. I started, obviously you cut me and stuff. I started consistently coming to you. I think when I was like 18. So I mean, and before that, you cut it here and there. But I want to talk about there. You've gone through some stuff in life, and I think the stuff that you gone through, it builds character. And there's a lot of times that when people go through the things that they go through, they could go this way and say, "I'm not dealing with this," and that's life. Or they say, "You know what? I leverage this to uh, build what I want to continue to build." And while some people can sit there and say, "I I don't think that that's why I am where I am today," I can look at you and I feel like the things that you've persevered through uh, is exactly why you are where you are, and you have this business, you have a good clientele, you have a celebrity. You've cut a number of celebrities. I mean, I don't follow a lot of barbers around here. I do know a few, but what you've done is, I think, incredible, and it's an inspiration. But I want to talk about in 1998, right? 1998, you're 21.
19.
You're 19. So
Yeah.
2000, you're 21.
Hmm.
I remember going to your house all the time. Always wanted to go to your crib and play the games. You had the Dreamcast, you had all that. I don't know if you remember. I used to love going
Yeah.
there. But during that time, you would have never. I would have never known the amount of stress that you were going through. And the reason why is because your son had leukemia.
Correct.
What was that like for you, and how were you able to navigate through some of that? Um, having your firstborn kind of go through, and you guys had your second child too, Anaya, right, during this
Hmm.
time. So you got
2 years
two
after. Yeah.
children. One has leukemia. What's going on in your mind during that time?
Shit. Every parent's nightmare,
Mhm.
man. Like just making sure my son was safe and I was present. And you asked me before about like what made me. I don't want to get sidetracked, but this
Sure,
goes hand in
sure, yeah, of
hand.
course.
What made me like choose this path? Like haircutting was a hobby. I don't know how you should know. You know plenty of me and my lifestyle back then.
Hmm.
Just hanging out and just getting into stuff. And when I had my son, I had to slow down. Just he was healthy at the time. I had to slow down, but when he got diagnosed with leukemia, I was like, yeah, he needs me.
Mm.
I'm going to New Haven. I'm taking him to Yale, New Haven, an hour away, like twice a week for treatment and stuff like that and appointments. So, you know, I had to leave the streets alone, and I still have bills to pay and a
Mhm.
family to provide for. So, um, I turned to cutting hair, and there was no looking back after that. You know what I mean? I had to do what I had to do. So, my son, his unfortunate situation was also a blessing in my career. Um, but yeah, it was tough, man. Seeing him, he didn't have to be born into this world.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was tough, man.
What kind of perspectives do you think it gave you? 21 and having kids. Like, obviously, I have kids, but I had kids later in life, and I can be empathetic, but I don't know how it actually would feel in those moments. Do you think you gained any perspective, or what perspective you gained from that at that time?
Um, One big thing I learned was, you know, you have to advocate for your kids.
Mhm.
We learn growing up. You go to your doctors, they tell you what they tell you, and okay, doc. You don't question that.
Yeah.
And him when he was going through, like he was just sick, man.
Mm,
You know, he was probably dying and we didn't know it. And I kept
mm,
bringing him back to the hospital over and over. And I don't know what, the man upstairs was just like, ask this question. And so I
mm,
asked, I'm 19. Well, at this point, I'm like 21. I don't know
yeah,
nothing. And I was like, you guys, you guys want to do blood work or something on him? Like, I just threw it out there and it was
yeah.
like, and they realized they haven't done blood work on him
Wow.
after a bunch of trips to the hospital. Like fever wouldn't break. It wasn't eating. It was like,
Mm,
we was losing our kid. And it was at that point that they checked his blood and they saw that, it wasn't normal. And then, they sent him to Yale and stuff.
mm,
But what I'm saying is you got to advocate for your kids, man. Like I said, they didn't have to be brought into this crazy world.
yeah,
So, and nothing's promised, man.
yeah.
And health, take care of your health.
Yeah,
You
man,
know
I
what I
think
mean?
that's the perspective of being an advocate for your kids. One of the things my wife does all the time, and while for me, I might get a little like, oh, everything's good, they're fine, they're just kids that get sick. She's on top of it, like, she's like bringing them to the pediatrician every fever possible. If it's a fever that's running its course for 2 or 3 days, she's bringing them, and I'm sitting there like, nah, they're good. We don't got to keep bringing them.
Mhm.
And it's crazy, man. It really is one of those things that when your kids are sick, you just wish that you could take on the pain for them.
Sure.
And it's scary stuff, man.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about Cam going through some stuff, and I was like, you don't remember I was throwing all types of questions
Yeah,
at you,
yeah,
like
yeah,
ask this,
yeah,
ask that,
yeah,
because you never know.
yeah. And to this day, like, I mean, he recently just came off of some issues that he had from antibiotics that he was prescribed, and I'm like, oh no, it's good. It's just, and I think for me, it's like I'm just very try to be positive of it, but I do think, like, having that approach of just be the advocate for your child, whether it's nothing, just make sure that it's nothing and rule things
Absolutely,
out.
absolutely, man, because you just never know.
Let's you're so we talk about that piece. That you have two kids, and again, I don't know how young parents do it. Being 21 and having two children, I even think about my mom, my sister. I had my kids 10 years later. I was 30 when I had my first child. What are some of the challenges that brings to you? Now that you have four, so you went through two, right? You had your two when you're young, and now you have four. Let's talk about those challenges early, and are there similar challenges now that you're older than when you had your first two, 20 years ago?
Definitely. Not so much my age, but the times.
Hmm.
It's 20 years later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things changed, man,
Hmm.
from, just from stuff on TV, from, just everything changed, man.
Yeah.
This world's getting crazy.
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's tough. It's not easy, you know what I mean? But you gotta keep pushing, man.
Hmm.
You gotta try to be the best you can. And we all, grew up however we grew up, and
Sure.
it's important to recognize what was not okay. And nothing against our parents. They tried
Sure.
their best, you know what I mean? But it's important to recognize um what how do I say it? Like what wasn't okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And change that and break those cycles.
Yeah. For sure.
Big time I'm big on that, breaking cycles, man. It's a challenge because you're a product of your environment, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you gotta
I think you broke some cycles, bro. You did an incredible job. I mean,
thank you, man.
there's some obviously some we don't have to go through the details of what you had to, but you did have full custody of your children, and you basically stopped something in that time frame for these kids. I think people see that. They see that in you. I think people, if whoever's watching this episode, and they tune into what this man has done, I think they could agree, who know that ins and outs of you, they could certainly agree with. You did everything possible to stop that generational curse, if you will.
I'm still working on
Yeah,
it.
listen, you are still working on it, but it's it's a work in progress. We've had several conversations while I sat in that chair right there, specifically about life and the things that we go through, and the things that are going in our mind. Are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the wrong thing? How do we handle this? How do we handle that? But ultimately, you put your first foot down and you trust your gut, you trust your instinct. We're never perfect, right? That stuff
Mm-mm.
we're gonna evolve. We constantly evolve. We constantly grow. I said this to you the other day. You know, things are supposed to be hard, I think, in my opinion, and I've been saying this a lot on a few episodes that I have had, because you don't grow when things are easy. If you sit here and, if you just kept doing the same cut and you didn't learn how to do the designs, if you didn't learn how to do the fades, if you're just doing just shaving it off, you're not growing your income. You're not growing into this business.
Mm-hmm.
You're not growing your sphere. Nobody's going to come see you. You had to challenge yourself, like you said, when you were early, 14, 15 years old.
Take the words out of my mouth. Challenge.
Yeah.
We got to be. Life is challenging,
Mm-hmm.
and anything that's, I guess worth it will be challenging because
That's
it's
right.
going to make you a bigger and better person.
That's right. So let's talk about how you built the business. Where you've cut some celebrities. The most notable, I think, Floyd Mayweather Sr. I saw that you did that a few years back. Obviously, you got some of the local guys' names: Chris Dunn, NBA, Rajay Davis, former MLB. You got I think Slim from 112. You cut his hair. You cut Taboo. You cut a number of celebrities. How do you get that level of exposure to such a higher profile person, or celebrities, to then be able to cut their hair? Like, what was that transition like? How do you get there from, obviously it's years, right? And it doesn't just happen overnight. But do you remember when you like first got into that kind of lane of clientele?
Yeah, I do, clearly. The funny thing is, I don't even think many people even know about this. I think the only person who might really know this is a buddy of mine, Jay Majors.
Mhm.
The the day I got the call for to cut Floyd Mayweather Sr. and it was Sugar Shane Mosley and all these other. I didn't know it was going to be all those people. It was just going to be the phone call was to cut Floyd Mayweather Sr.'s hair. I was literally going to get some money out of ATM and hitting the road to meet up with my buddy Jay to go to a barber bowling event that I was going to network, and I was going to be around some important people.
You brought all your equipment too. You're gonna show up.
I was going to cancel that haircut, not go to the haircut because that barbering bowling event I think it was in New York or New Jersey, but it was important to me.
Mhm.
And I wasn't going to go do these haircuts, man. And that would have been a big mistake. But yeah, I don't give myself credit usually. I don't give myself enough credit. I don't. I try to remain humble, despite of what anybody might think. Hard work, man. I bust my ass. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate to get these. I am very fortunate to get these opportunities. Coming from a small town like here, you know what I mean? It was just busting my ass for years and years and years and branding myself and put my name out there. That opportunity came to me. I didn't even know where it came from.
For the Mayweather one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just a phone call.
You don't know where that came from? It's just kind of.
I do know where it came from now, but I didn't know where it came from. Shout out to Nick. He's not who called me, but he referred me to somebody. They said he needed a haircut, and he said, call my barber, and that's how that happened.
Yeah. What's going on in your mind? You're like, yo, I'm cutting, Sugar Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather. How do you feel in that moment? Are you hype?
Honestly,
Are you like,
I detach myself, man. I'm
yeah?
kind of numb to that. Yeah.
Is it just like normal cut? Like,
yeah, I don't want to do the groupie thing. I just want to be,
Yeah.
solid and just, we all human at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just want to be, professional and provide a good service. So maybe I get a phone call back. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all that is. And every time I went into that, it was always like that. Like I'm not an ass kisser.
Yeah.
Some are, some are not. I'm not. I want my like genuine, my personality and my work to speak for itself. And it works. I ain't count, but I know it's been over 10 people.
Yeah.
Or, it's been quite a few, people that I've done.
Sure.
And I'm fortunate for every single one of them. those are all, good experiences. Some were very funny. There was
like they were
some I
funny.
can't talk about,
Okay.
but yeah, it was pretty dope. It's pretty dope, man. You know what I mean?
What what's the plan? So a couple of things I want to ask here. You have new clippers all the time. Like not like that. I think you're trying to figure out how to fine tune, your process. It seems like that mentality you had when you're 14, you still have to this day. How do I get better? Like you got all this new equipment, and you're, not that you're saying again, not that you have like 30 new clippers up on your
But I do.
station,
But I do.
You do. So, but like, what is it that changes in styling hair, I should say, and making sure, like, what makes it that you need all this different equipment for?
I don't need it. It's just this industry is evolving like by the day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Like, how? I guess that's what I want.
I
How's it
mean,
evolving?
from styles
Yeah.
to equipment
Yeah.
to just shit. You name it, man. It's just evolving.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's very trendy. I don't follow the trends.
You don't follow
I
the
kind of
trends?
stay in my own little
Yeah.
lane, and I try to stick to.
When you say you don't follow the trends, what's that mean, though?
There's a lot of stuff that goes on that I'm not, from social media, like a
Yeah.
lot of gimmicks and all
It's
that
like
stuff.
styles of haircut, or like how they're cutting the hair?
Styles and just little tricks that people do. I'm not gonna sit here and be a hypocrite.
Mhm.
Like this goes way back. I believe Philly and big major cities, they used to
Mhm.
do hair dye and stuff like that. Like I was the first one out here, and I'll say that. Like, I don't know nobody who was doing it before me.
Mm.
And I was clowned for it, and everybody was saying, "Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's painting people's haircut." Well, guess what?
And everybody's doing it.
You're all doing it. You know what I mean? All of you guys are doing it, and that's okay because we're supposed to evolve. You know what I mean? Like, put your pride in your back pocket,
Yeah.
and do what's going to make you a better barber, a better person. But yeah, so so that was a trend, and I didn't know how the hell it was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And I figured it out my way. That's why I just do things a different way.
Right.
I'm self-taught when it comes to hair cutting. So some people be like, you don't do like this guy, he starts my haircut like this and all that, but you do it different. I'm like, yeah, because that's just how I do it. You know what I mean? I was self-taught.
Right.
My way of cutting is to prevent error.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
you are very meticulous, man, and how you cut hair. What's your favorite haircut to do?
Not yours at all.
I didn't ask you who you don't like to cut.
Nah.
But and we are well aware that my hair grows in multiple different ways. I'm sorry, product of
Hey, that's a challenge. It made me better. At some point,
it's fire.
probably made me better.
That's fire. I get wedding haircuts every time I come. But like, what is there a specific style of cut that you like? Like, yo, this person's coming. I like cutting his hair, and because of the style of haircut, is there anything particular that you like, or you just?
Honestly, I think skin fades. Believe it or not, I wonder if I'm pretty sure I've been asked this before. Maybe I had a different answer, but now that I think about it, excuse me.
Is it because it's fast, or because
it's not fast? Some are faster than others, but it's a big. Some people get tapers and blowouts and stuff like that. It's like it's not a big. On some people, it looks like, oh damn, he just got his haircut. But some people, it doesn't look like that. But when you get a fade, like you're clean right to the skin, so it shows. Yeah, but I'm gonna say a fade.
I like my fades, man. I used to, back in the day. So and I want to go to your designs. Like the designs that you used to do were just. I mean, I don't know how often you do designs to this day. It was very popular. I think when I was coming up. Maybe I should start doing it again and bring it back. But you would do some freestyle designs that are just like, yo, how do you come up with that? Like, where'd that come from? Like, who was the first person you did a design on? And then, like, how do you evolve and kind of, because it's pretty artistic.
Damn, that's a good question. Who was the first person I did a design on? I couldn't even tell you, to be honest. But you said it, freestyle.
Yeah,
it's freestyle. I can't draw on paper.
You can't draw.
I cannot draw on paper. All my haircuts, all my designs are freestyle. I've tried to like see stuff and try to mimic it, or like even draw some myself on paper and be like, you know what, next design I'm gonna try to do
You
this.
can't.
Hell no.
No.
Even something I drew on paper, I couldn't put it on.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't know if something's wrong with me or what. um, but no, it's freestyle, man. And when I do one, the hardest thing is the first line, where to start. Because
It's funny.
I've had, if you look at my Instagram, I've had like Carlos Luque.
Yeah.
I had him like, I gave him the trimmers. I'm like, here, put a couple lines in your son's head.
And you and his son's head.
Yeah, and then I just make something of it from there.
Wow.
There's videos of that.
That's cool.
But that's the hardest part to do, is the first, how to begin one. And then once I get that first line in there, I just freestyle over that.
And it's symmetrical too. It's not like just random. You know what I mean? It's not. Again, I there's probably 4 or 5 pictures that I have where like you could just tell that the design is very like you said, it's freestyle, but it's very detailed, and you're paying attention to what you're doing. You're not like, I've seen designs where it's like, what's that? Like,
It doesn't flow.
It doesn't flow.
Yeah. I've done a few that didn't flow.
I'm sure, but early on. I mean,
Yeah.
do you still get the requested designs? Like, is it usually like in kids, younger kids, or
Yeah, usually kids.
Yeah.
Not many adults. And kind of like during like sports, a lot of kids want stars. They want like the number.
Yeah, see,
the jersey number.
Yeah, those are like more simple designs, though, right? Like with the numbers and the stars and the
I try to
Nikes
freak it
and the
though, so
hearts
it's not so
Yeah,
plain. I try to do some fading to it. Do some.
I will say, when I had the burst fade phase, remember the burst fade?
I can see it right now,
bro.
What you're talking
Fire,
about.
bro. I used to love that haircut. And then I got older and kids got married and stuff like that. I can't be going to work in these events with the burst fade. Maybe I could, but that was one of my favorite haircuts, and you killed that. I love that one. What do you see changing? Do you see stuff continue? You said things are always evolving. What do you think are some of the biggest changes in the industry now coming, in the next, 6, 12 months, 18 months? Do you see AI involving at all into it? I know we mess around and talk about it. I mean,
shit, you trying to stress me out?
Like,
as far as cutting,
no.
As far as like, all the pictures and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Where do I see it going? A lot more barbershops.
More opening barbershops,
because everybody wants to do their own thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, there was a lot of chair renting and stuff like that, and now everybody wants to just open up, go, which is nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
I did it a few times.
Yeah.
I left a number of barbershops to do my own thing, but they want to do, their salon suites and stuff like that, and pricing, like we undercharged for a long time, and now we starting to bump it up a little bit. Some people are getting a little crazy with it. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
But because of social media and all that stuff, like it's bringing awareness to that. Like just I hear it all the time. I try not to pay too much attention to it, but a topic the other day was, why is a kid's haircut less than an adult's when it's more work?
Somebody asked that?
A lot of people ask that. And it's
a barber asked it or a client?
No, we talked about it here. Like, but it's been a top. Like, I've seen it on social media.
A kid's hair is more work than adult?
It is sometimes.
I guess, yeah.
A lot of times.
I guess when you look, think about Cam, put the clips in, he's moving, and
it's just the moving and just the type of hair. That, kids' hair is softer. You know what I mean? So it's kids' haircut is actually a lot of work.
Yeah. By the way, he didn't move the other day at all. He kind of just sat there.
Leave his ass over there. Don't bring him back to me.
Yeah,
he's been good with me too.
All right,
I'm messing with you.
I'm just saying, like, because I feel like he does move with you every now and again.
Nah, he's been good, man. I haven't had no issues with him.
Yeah,
that I can remember.
He sat there and he just looked at himself and he was like smiling as he does cut.
Yeah, probably because he's younger and he probably looks better than me. Who knows? I'll take it.
Nah, you guys look alike. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to kind of interrupt there. But I'm just curious to see, like, I think as a client, obviously your family, but I'm one of your clients still. The main thing I see is just the different hairstyles. Just kind of different. It seems like pretty much people my age and in age group, plus or minus 10 years, get pretty much the same consistent haircut over and over and over again, which is fine, I think.
Which is why I don't post. In case you guys are wondering why I don't ever post that much about haircuts. When I post about anything barbering, I want it to be my work. I don't like to do like funny videos and stuff like that. That's not. It's just not for me.
Mhm.
Um, so the reason I don't post is because I have pretty much the same customers that come see me all year long. I don't really have new customers. So those people get the same haircuts pretty much all the time. So I don't want to keep posting the same person, same haircut. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's your plans for your business? What do you see for AV Hair Co? What do you want to like? What do you hope to aspire and accomplish in the next 5-10 years?
Good question. You're challenging me. You're making
Mm.
me think.
No, good.
I should. That's something I should always have in mind,
Yeah.
like how to grow.
The thing is you always had this in mind, right? You've always had you wanted AV
Yeah.
as your own barbershop.
Right.
So it's okay to kind of just land there, but always kind of evolve into something, whether it be multiple AVs, so just.
It's tough, man, because like I said, it's hard to find people
Mhm.
to come work, and when you do have somebody, you want them to love. They're not gonna love it like they're not gonna love your business like you do,
Mhm.
but you want them to, have love for it and treat it like it's theirs.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find that. Um, so as far as multiple, I'm not saying it will never happen, but right now I gotta work on this baby right here.
Yeah.
It's my firstborn,
Keep grinding. Keep grinding with
and
it. How long have you been here? 3 years? 2 years?
since
Since COVID.
COVID 2020, I was
I want
back.
to talk about that. I'm glad we just brought that up. How challenging was that for you? Or is it just like, was it easier because did the government help you out? Like, what was that like,
No, I
having
didn't. I
complete
didn't.
2 months of not being able to cut and then have to deal with the mandates, the masking, the kit you had, we had to come here with our own capes and our own stuff for a little bit. Um, you know, what was that like for you? And did you think at that point, maybe, man, is this gonna upend my business or?
I was worried. It sucked.
Yeah,
First of all,
yeah,
it sucked
yeah, yeah.
bad. You know what I mean? Um, since I was a new business, I didn't qualify for.
Oh, that's whack.
Yeah,
That's whack.
I opened. I opened February 25th of 2020, and
Hmm.
the shutdown was like a week or two after that.
2 weeks later, 3 weeks later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that sucked. I dumped everything I had into this, and I was ready to open the doors and start trying to recoup some of that, and boom.
Hmm.
Um, and I did not cut during COVID. Probably right before they opened things up. I
Hmm.
probably did a couple of haircuts, but I toughed it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a new baby. I had two little babies
That's
at the
right.
house
That's
and
right.
all that, so it wasn't happening. Yeah, it was tough though. I was glad to be back, even with the mask and all that. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like it was crazy, man.
I,
But
I'm
I was
sh-
happy to be back.
I'm sure your clients were happy to be back. I had to cut my own hair. I don't
Oh
know if you
yeah.
remember that picture I sent you,
Oh
but I bought
yeah.
I bought like these just cheap trimmers. It was probably like 30-40 bucks and it had like a couple different guards. And I was like, yo, I got to figure it out. Cause I mean, at some point, like I just had to clean up and it didn't have to be crazy, but I just remember like looking in the mirror and just trying to fade myself. And all of a sudden, like
A
I
lot
thought,
of
I thought it looked decent. I'm not gonna lie, for someone who didn't cut hair.
I think a lot of people became barbers during that time.
Oh yeah.
Seriously, hell yeah,
Yeah.
because it was experimenting. Like
Yeah.
if I mess my hair up, I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
Nobody's gonna
That's
see me.
exactly what it was. It's funny. I have a video because at first I was like, all right, I gotta try to get a haircut. So Claire, she was pregnant, and we were outside. I'll send it to you. It's funny. We're outside of my old house in Quaker Hill. We're
Hmm.
sitting on the patio, and she's cutting my hair. And these clippers that I got, I won from a contest at work. So they were super cheap. They were like old school clippers,
I think you
probably
told
like
me about
probably
this.
like the ones that you had when your mom gave you them when you were younger. And when she's using I think a 3 guard, and for some reason, bro, she kept pulling my
Kept
hair out.
jamming.
Yo, I'm like, ah. So then I was like, yo, F this. So I like have like half my head shaved, and then I was like, I got to do this on
You
my
might
own.
have sent me that,
I got to send
or
you.
you
I'm gonna
told me
send you
about
both.
it. One or two.
And then you were like, your response was like, yo, bro, you still got bangs. Like I didn't think I didn't have anything up here. So, but with transition, we talked about your business. We talked a little bit about some of the challenges that you had early on. I'm curious a couple of things before we wrap up because we got like 10 minutes probably left in the episode. Couple of things. So in 30 years of cutting, what's the funniest or most bizarre story you've had with somebody you cut? Because I'm sure you had some.
Damn, you're talking 30 years, bro. I got to think about some stuff.
Go ahead.
I remember one time working on Jefferson Avenue. It
That was famous? Would you work at
wasn't
Famous?
famous. It was
No.
called Michael G's at the time.
But it was the Famous building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Michael G's, that was before that. I'm sure that was in the 90s.
no, that
I
was
don't remember.
2000.
Man, Michael G's. Okay, I think I remember the name now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody had a client in the chair, and you had to be there, man. The client was like kind of losing his hair, but he was holding on to it, and it was
Yeah.
super long.
This is before the sew-ins?
Yeah, way before that. And whoever was cutting his hair hit him with, like, was blowing the blow dryer on him, and that shit said,
Nah.
like, I mean, it didn't go nowhere. It was just attached to his head, but it was so long and thin that it
Yo,
just kept flying.
yo,
But then he like looked over at us, and we
uh,
saw, so we kept
yo.
for a long time. He kept doing it. He had his heart just in tears, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of fucked up.
It's fun, but it's funny though, man.
It was
I think
hilarious.
the best thing about the barbershop is, you have a sign here that where is it over? Where is it at? It's basically coming to the barbershop is cheaper than therapy. I don't know where it is, somewhere here in the shop you do. But man, you do, like, I could remember, like, back in the day, just going to any shop, whether it was Connecticut's, whether it was Famous, whether where you were Connecticut's in Groton. You've been a ton of places, but it always just seemed like a place for a good place just to hang out. It was fun. The vibe is there. Whether the sport is on the TV, whether the music is playing, whether we just can't sit in there, kind of joking around, and that's you know I miss that environment of a barbershop. Not that this doesn't create that. I think you do a really good job creating that when you have your clients come in, everybody's kind of showing love and whatnot. That's what I always, as long as you're around, man, that's just something that I love to do. We come here and there's just love always shown. And, people are people. People are going to be pain in the necks.
Yeah,
I know I'm a pain in the ass. Yo, can you cut me on this week? Can you cut me
that
on
don't
that week?
bother me, man. That's
I
how I pay
know,
my
but
bills.
I know, but
There's some though, there's some that could be a little too much, but I miss that atmosphere too. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
I was trying to provide, like, first I was trying to get organized, and I was
mm,
trying to be better with my time and better with everybody's time.
mm,
So, we started doing appointments,
mm.
and a lot of people had a problem with that, you know. But eventually they got with the program, and that was smooth. Like,
That's
you
smooth.
don't,
Yeah,
and it's right now it's good. Like, for people who come in here, like women that come in with their kids, like they don't have to be around a lot of guys.
yeah,
Some
yeah,
that
yeah,
makes some
yeah.
uncomfortable. Some of them. So it's like it's only me and my son working here right now.
Mhm.
So as barbers, so we on appointment. So
Yeah,
basically, the
yeah.
most people you're gonna have in here is the two in a chair
Right.
and maybe
One or
one or
two
two
other. Yeah,
waiting,
yeah,
and they won't be waiting for long.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I'm done with you. You come,
yeah.
sit down, and you leave.
Right.
So it's like, but I do miss. I miss that because it's,
Yeah.
you know, excuse me, it's a lot of a lot of characters come by here through
Yeah,
these
man.
doors, man.
And you're in a prime spot for characters, man. You got people always coming in, showing love and whatnot. I mean, again, that's why I think you still kind of have that. Like, there's been times that people, like, I'm sitting in the chair, people just pull up, say what up.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
shoot the shit for, like,
And I always
5-10
appreciate
minutes.
that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
people that like, oh, they stop by here, be like, yo, you can't get me in, but I gotta stop by here and say
yeah. And
what's
say
up.
what's up.
And I appreciate that because a
Yeah,
lot of people take that personal.
yeah.
It's never personal. It's
Right,
never personal.
right.
I don't like turning nobody's money down. That's how I pay my bills, but
Yeah,
it's just timing. You know what I mean? And so that's that. But yeah, I appreciate anytime
yeah.
there's people. Shout out to like John White. He works over there with Linda
Mhm.
Otto's barbershop. Like, I love everybody. I show everybody love. But there's people who don't come here and go get their haircut over there, but they'll stop here before or
Say
after
what's up.
and say what's up. And
Yeah,
that's dope. And I
yeah,
go over there and I sit over there in that barbershop and
yeah,
talk to them.
yeah.
And
See, that's cool, man. I
yeah,
think that, and that's nice. Like, you do have that shop right there, and you can kind of still create what we were just talking about, even though it's not inside
yeah,
here. It's still kind of created. And again, things change in general. Like, we're gonna always look back and be like, man, those are some good times and whatnot. But, like, that's still the element that you create through your business, which is, I think, admirable for sure. Couple last questions here. Um, what do you want to get better at?
in general,
Yeah, in general.
taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that ties into barbering too. Um, like I said, in general, I gotta take better care of myself. But a lot of us barbers, we don't we don't take the time to hydrate and just, eat something healthy,
Mhm.
and we always on the go, and that's that takes a toll on us.
Mhm.
I feel it.
Yeah,
I know that. I get out
sure.
of work and I crash, and I'm only 28 years old right now. But I don't want to feel like
It's
an
all
old
good,
man.
bro. It's all
No, but yeah, I definitely want to get better at that. That's it.
um in 30 years of barbering, what are you most proud of? Anything.
What one thing?
Nah,
Things. I
yeah,
mean,
what are you most proud of? It doesn't have to be one.
um, the fact that I was able to create this,
Mm,
and my son works here, and I just have something that I could leave behind in my family.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Um, you know, I'm thankful. That I'm able to provide for my family
yeah.
through this.
Mm,
Um, Also, my name is respected. Um, Not just here.
right.
In the industry, I'm known and I'm respected, and that means a lot.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because I got some stories, man. Pretty dope stories. Probably not for now,
mm.
but pretty dope story. um, but yeah, I'm proud that the hard work paid off. It's paying off still,
Yeah, yeah, man. I love that. Um,
and that my kids are proud of me. I mean, I always
yeah,
want I want to make my kids proud,
yeah,
just like they want to make me proud. You know what I mean? But usually it's like that. Kids
yeah,
want to make the parents proud, but I want to make
right.
my kids
Yeah.
proud. Um, so yeah, that means my kids. People show my kids love
Mm,
when they see them everywhere.
yeah.
Oh, you're Adrian's kid,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
Adrian's
yeah.
daughter, and they just know about my kids, and
Yeah.
because I wear that on my sleeve, man. My
Yeah,
kids,
yeah,
man. So
literally.
everybody knows how
Right.
how I feel about that,
Yeah.
so they know. But you were saying,
Yeah, no. So I wanted to ask you this earlier, and I should have asked you, but I guess I'll wrap up with these two questions. How are you able to build such good relationships with people? I think the people in business, that's probably the number one thing you have to do is build relationships, and you have a lot of good relationships with a lot of people. Um, how are you able to do that? It's hard for me because you're family, and I think obviously, yeah, we talk at a different level than a normal client and barber would talk. Um, so that's different, but I observe you, and there's multiple people that have come into here. Yo, that's a real dude. That's one of my boys. That's a good person. That's one of my, there's been several people that you've spoken to at that level. How are you able to build those relationships with people?
um, be myself, man. Be
Mhm,
respectful. I'm genuine and considerate. You know what I mean? I definitely, I have some good people in my circle.
mhm,
I got some people in high places that I'm thankful for. That I learned from, that guide me, and surprisingly ask me for advice sometimes.
right.
I'd be shocked sometimes.
Yeah.
The certain people that ask me questions
Yeah,
on what
yeah,
I
yeah.
think about something. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn,
They value your
really?
opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. That's it, man. Just respectful, man.
Yeah. I don't know what the generation of barbers coming up is. You probably would know more than I do. I think there's a 10-year gap between someone you and I who know, and who's over, and does his own thing. But eventually, again, we're all going to phase out. Whether it's me in insurance, you barber, and the realtor that's there, the mortgage person that's there, we're eventually going to phase out. What advice would you have for people who maybe um, want to get into this uh, cosmetology business, if you will, because that's what it is, right? Cosmetology. It
Yeah.
it could be barbering,
Service and
hairstyling,
service
service.
industry.
Yeah, service industry. We're all in the service industry. We're all
Mhm.
in people business. But those who are generating money and revenue for themselves, for their families, that is based off of appointments, based off of building a network, based off of um, continuous people coming to see you in and out. what advice would you have for someone that's looking to maybe go in that direction in their life?
Definitely get it while it's hot,
Mm,
because this ain't gonna last forever. It
mhm,
could be fashion. Your style might change. What you're good at might not be in style no more. You gotta, and you gotta evolve with this stuff too. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Like, don't just sit in a box. Like I
sure.
kind of did, but it worked out for me.
Mhm,
But definitely learn. Continue learning. Like I said, get it while it's hot, because it ain't gonna last forever. Be smart with your money. Um, and the stuff that the advices I'm giving, it doesn't mean that I've taken those advices or even did it that
sure,
way. You know
sure.
what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
But
But
you learned
I
about it.
learned
Yeah, yeah.
there's some of these things I wish I did. You
Mhm,
know what I mean? But definitely network, build solid relationships. Not one sided, not just where you could benefit.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Because a real person noticed that, oh, he's
mhm.
just benefiting from me. I don't need him around. So it got to be a give and take. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got to be able to provide something too besides a haircut.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, definitely, and take care of yourself,
Right.
because we beat our bodies up.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, we discussed, like I said earlier, your kind of challenges of when you were younger and when you started, how you started. Talking about the guy from Brooklyn who you kept, um, you know, noticing his, his style, haircut, he had the Maxima and all that. You cut your hair, then you wanted another one, then you finally kind of got your own cut with your brother. Talked about some of your challenges that you had with your son, and as you're starting to kind of continue the career of barbering and hair cutting, having a little bit of things getting thrown your way, but you overcame and persevered. We talk about your business, what you saw here, where you were, how you've built it to where it is today. Is there anything that you want to throw out on the table that I missed in this conversation? Is there anything that, if you're interviewing me and I'm, we're in different seats, you would have asked?
I'm not good at that, but
That's I'm just saying, let's make sure we covering all the covering everything.
no, but since you're giving me the floor, I want to thank you, and I want to tell you I'm proud of you
Oh,
too, man.
appreciate it, bro.
You know what I'm
Thank you.
saying? I
Thank you.
always I always
Yeah.
refer to you. You are my younger cousin,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
always
yeah.
refer to you as my little
Yeah.
brother.
Appreciate it, bro.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um, I'm proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Um, I apologize for being episode number 89, whatever this is.
This is 99. Not yet. We'll
I
get
know I
there.
was supposed to be one of the first
You're
ones, if
supposed to
not
be
the first
you're
one.
supposed to be up there. Yeah, but it's all good.
But
So we made it happen.
no, I'm definitely proud of you, what you're
Thank
doing,
you.
and the man you become, and the
Thank
husband
you.
you become,
Thank you.
and the father, and we all proud of you,
Yeah,
bro.
man. Appreciate
The
it.
whole
I
family and
appreciate
stuff.
it.
But keep pushing.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely keep pushing.
Before we let you go here, where can people find you on social, the barbershop? Um,
All right, so yeah, I'm on Facebook. I have two pages on Facebook. One is Adrian Vega, and then I have the business one. There's Adrian Vega Hair Co. On Instagram, CT underscore Adrian Vega, and also Adrian Vega Hair Co. And I think that's it.
Okay. And this is 13 Golden Street, New London, Connecticut. Come see Adrian and his son. They do great work. I think the best in town. I'll say that's my opinion, but I think a lot of people will validate that opinion. And I appreciate you coming on and doing the show with me, bro.
I appreciate it. If you guys want to book, people say it's hard to get in with me. It could be tough sometimes, but it's not impossible. So definitely reach out through social media on those pages. There should be a link to our booking site, and feel free to give it a shot. If you can't find nothing on there, send me a message. We'll try to make it work. And use code Paulie.
There we go.
I'll charge you a little extra for that one.
All right, guys.